Let's take a look at exception handling in Java. We'll look at some keywords like try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. We'll create a couple of errors or exceptions and then see how Java handles them. And then we'll catch them and then we'll handle them. Um, so let's go ahead and get started. I've already created the public class exception handling demo that will run the main method, which will be our entry point to our program. So let's go ahead and start by creating the errors. We'll do a divide by zero error and out of bounds index error. And then we'll see how Java does that without any handling. Okay, so in our main method, let's go ahead and create a integer a and variable, and then we'll go ahead and do like 3 divided by 0. All right, and then we'll just run that and see what kind of error we get because we're dividing by 0. Okay, here we see an arithmetic error exception, divide by 0 error. All right, now let's create a different error. So let's comment this out. And then we'll create an array. We'll call that B. We'll just add maybe 3 elements. And then an array. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll try to give that to n, and then we'll say B, we want to access the 100th index here. All right, let's see what kind of error that gives us. All right, array index out of bounds error, right? So index 100 doesn't exist in a length 3 array. All right, so as you can see here, each time we ran this, the errors or the exceptions, they caused our program to stop working, and it's not very graceful. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a way for our program to be a little bit more graceful and handle these errors. Okay, so for that, we're going to do first, we're going to do well, first let's comment all this out. Okay. Now we're going to use the try catch to do the error handling here for us, or exception handling. So let's create that int a again. Okay, 3 divided by 0 error. All right, so we know that it's an arithmetic exception. There's a list of exceptions that Java handles. You can find that list by going to the website and looking those up. We have it here, so we know which errors we need to catch. They're coming out of java.lang.arithmetic exception, and so is the array index out of bounds exception. So we're going to use the try block here. And we know what kind of error this is, so we're going to go ahead and catch that. Let's just make a little space here so that it's neat. All right, we're going to use catch. Okay, so when we create a try, we either need to do a catch, at least one catch, or we need to do finally. So right now we're going to do the catch. We're going to catch the arithmetic exception error. We can do arithmetic exception error here with an E. All right, and then inside of this block of code here in catch, we need to specify how we want to handle it or what kind of code we want to execute when we encounter this exception. Right now, we're just going to go ahead and print a message out. Okay, we're going to say arithmetic exception, and we'll say error. All right, and then we'll do E, and then this object is carrying some methods, so we're going to go ahead and get the message. All right, let's see how that handles. All right, there we go. It looks a little bit cleaner here without all the thread here information. here we get the little arithmetic error message that we have in our string, and then we get the message which is divide by 0. So it kind of lets you know what does that mean, just like up here. Okay, so like this is one way of doing that. Arithmetic exception is a subclass or a child of exception. So we can do multiple catches. So next we're going to do the array index out of bounds exception. So we can go ahead and create another catch. Okay, and then we can go ahead and again, let's leave a little space here just so it looks a little neater. So we're going to go ahead and do the array index out of bounds error here, and same thing, we're just going to go ahead and print, and then we'll do let's just say, hey, that index doesn't exist. Okay, and then we'll also print out e dot get the, we'll just do get the message. Okay, let's tighten it up here a little bit, just like that. All right, so now we have two catches. Okay, one's arithmetic exception, one's an array index out of bounds exception. So let's go ahead and change this here, and now we'll do the index out of bounds error. All right. All right. All right, let's go ahead and run that. All right, there we go. Hey, that index doesn't exist. Index 100 out of bounds for length 3. Okay, so here's our string, and then here's the message. Okay, we can do one more. So like I was saying before, all these are actually children of exception. So this catch will catch every other error that it is thrown. Stop throwing errors. All right, e dot get message. All right, so we basically are handling arithmetic exception, array index out of bounds exception, and any other exceptions here. Let's go ahead and just throw in a random exception here. So now we're going to use the throw. We're going to go ahead and let's just throw a generic exception here. Let's pick one, maybe access exception, or let's just throw the big one here, exception. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. All right, there you go. Stop throwing errors, right? So it's not any of these, so it threw our last catch here. Okay, now there's no message passed in. One of the things here with the exceptions is you can actually pass in a message. I am in error. All right, let's run that. All right, I am in error. So you can actually pass in strings here when you're constructing the exception. Okay. Now we can do one more thing here is the finally block. This piece of code here inside here will execute no matter whether an exception is thrown or not, but before any other code outside the try block. So here it will basically execute. So let's go ahead and take a look here, and then we're gonna go ahead and say finally. Okay, and then we'll see where that executes. All right, so the error gets caught, handled, and then finally gets executed. All right, so let's leave that like that. So next we'll take a look at methods that throws an exception. So in here in our class, we're going to go ahead and create a static method that is a void, and then we're just going to say throw error. All right, and then we're going to use the keyword throws exception. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is that we're specifying that this method is going to throw an exception error, but it's not going to handle it. That's going to be up to the caller of this method to handle. So basically our try catch block is going to handle this error. It's so basically what we'll do here is we'll just do new, we'll do a return. Oh, we'll just actually, yeah, we'll just do new exception. All right, we'll just say coming from throw error. Okay. All right, and then we'll come down here. Let's go ahead and call this method throw error. Okay, and then let's see what happens. All right, so so we see here that it doesn't appear that it handled the error, but it actually did. We need to change this from void to exception, and it's gonna return that. All right, and let's see how it behaves now here. Okay, not sure why it's not it's catching and it's running the final block. Well, I think that what we have to do is actually not return, but actually throw the error. Okay, so let's go ahead and return that to void. Take a look at what happens here. Okay, there we go. We had to throw the error. Sorry about that. So stop throwing errors coming from throw error finally. All right, so okay. So next what we'll do is we'll create our custom exception using inheritance. So let's create a class that we'll call it custom exception. Okay, it extends exception. Okay, and then in here what we'll do is we'll override the get message method, and so it'll be a public string get message. All right, and then we'll return custom exception error. Okay, and then what we'll do now, we're extending exception, creating our own custom exception, and then we're just overriding the get message string here. So this is our own exception that we're creating, and then what we'll do is in here, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and create our exception. Okay, so here we'll just do, we'll say throw new custom exception. Okay, And we'll throw our own custom one, and then let's run that code. All right, there we go. Now what we can do is we can even change the type so that it catches an arithmetic exception. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead, instead of getting exception, let's do arithmetic exception. Let's rerun that code. All right, there you go. Arithmetic error, custom exception error. Okay. So let's take a quick look at what we've done. So we've created our own custom exception here that we can throw. So for this here, for the throw error method here, we use the throws exception. So this is letting the caller know that we expect this method to throw an error that should be handled by the caller. So the method itself is not handling the error, the exception. Here we're going to use the try catch blocks, and finally to handle the exceptions. Okay, and then we have them chained here, so different type of exceptions, and then the just a generic one to handle each one as it's encountered. This provides a graceful way to handle exceptions instead of the program just crashing because it's not handled. Um, okay.